Yo, 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 man. We live in the building. Gang, gang. We in here, dog. We got the vibes this week, man, as you can see. And we like to bring the vibes every week. What y'all say?
I'm with it.
That's what I'm feeling, man. We got a great show for y'all. Today we're going to be recapping this past week of football. Maybe hitting on some social issues, possibly. Hitting on some vaccine stuff, you know what I mean? We are all around crew here, so we're very well rounded, not just sports. But let's get into it, man. So let's see what we got first, man. Let's recap. Let's kind of just start off with what were some notable games that you guys kind of locked into this weekend, man. What are some notable ones, man, that you just kind of went and said, that was interesting.
I mean, for me, for all our teams, Florida, FAU, Bama, Miami, Florida State, Notre Dame. But one game I'll throw out there is UCLA, LSU. Big game for Chip Kelly. They really needed that.
Good call.
I won't say UCLA is back, of course, but that was a real big one.
Yeah, nobody saw that one coming from a mile. I mean,
yeah.
Coach O might be on the hot seat. I mean, they didn't play well last year. They're starting off rocky this year. I mean, it's looking like, which I said this a while back. Joe Brady was really the reason.
Right.
The former offensive coordinator is not offensive coordinator for the Panthers. He saved that program, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Joe Burrow, I mean, he saved it. And Coach O looking real.
Coach O has
even with Joe Burrow, he simplified the offense for Joe Burrow, man.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if Joe Burrow's really that good? You know what I mean?
He hasn't looked that good in the league.
Yeah.
And is LSU still getting those talented guys? Like, I mean, they got Derek Stingley, but I mean,
Elias Ricks on the other side, another 5-star.
They got Ricks, yeah. They got Ricks. He's a sophomore, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Sophomore.
Yeah.
LSU is going to be LSU. They're always going to kind of get at least one or two kids just off the name.
Yeah.
I think they really got to bounce back from this though. They got to show something different. Didn't I hear that was Brad Johnson's son at quarterback, Max Johnson?
I believe so.
Yeah, I was like that's random. I hadn't even heard anything. Last thing I knew, Finley was starting for them, right? TJ Finley.
Yeah, they had number 3 recruiting class last year. I mean,
so they he just got beat out in camp, or did he transfer, or what happened with Finley? Do we know?
That's a real confusing situation because they bring in guys with height. It seems like maybe every year or every other year, but they're never able to.
He transferred to Auburn. Oh, Finley, yeah, okay. Well, that's what I mean. Hey, you getting a free transfer, so I guess use it, right? So your game was UCLA LSU. That's a great pick. Desmond, what you got, man? What was your game that just kind of was like, whoa, I didn't expect that? What game was that for you?
I like the way Ole Miss looked against Louisville. Ole Miss looked like Matt Corral and that offense looked really, really explosive. Granted, it was against Louisville at a prime time, team, but the way that Louisville offense looks like,
right.
And again, they were one of the few teams to kind of give Bama a little bit of a run. One of the few teams that actually scored over 20 points. It was only 3 that scored over 20 points against Bama last year.
Yeah.
So I think if they can get their defense together, I think Ole Miss can really be a player in that SEC this year. Especially the way LSU look. I think Florida still has some quarterback issues they got to figure out. So
Lane Kiffin, he always quietly builds, doesn't he? He just quietly.
Yeah. He had COVID, so he wasn't even there. They have a really good offensive coordinator that comes from Baylor. Got a lot of the Baylor flavor, the way they run a lot of RPOs. So I'm really, I think Ole Miss is another one to keep an eye on.
Shea Patterson looks sharp. He looks sharp.
For who?
Shea Patterson. Not Patterson. Corral. Corral looks sharp, man. That dude's got a nice arm for sure.
Yeah,
I like him.
He's got a live arm.
Yeah.
And he can move around a little bit.
Yeah, he can. He had a rushing touchdown.
He kind of has that Johnny Manziel. Like he's ways better than Johnny Manziel, of course.
Yeah, his arm talent.
That Johnny Manziel like flair to his game.
Yeah, the little swag, the headband. He kind of comes with. with it. So I was impressed by what I saw from their offense. They're one of the few offenses I saw that look really good. And it'll be remiss without saying this as well. Shout out to Tulane. The way Tulane fought against Oklahoma, that's what you want to see if you're that type of team. To come back, to make it a one-sport game, cover the onside kick, and have a chance to win that game. Shout out to Tulane, especially all the things going on with New Orleans and having to basically be displaced from where their home facilities and they have to move it.
Tulane
Kennedy
for sure. Shout out to Kennedy for sure. Hometown kid, man, Jacksonville kid. Sandalwood, yep. So a game for me, man, was kind of eye opener for me. I'll probably do two, man, honestly. So the Oregon versus Fresno State game, that kind of opened my eyes a little bit about Oregon. That Oregon might not be as advertised, right? Mm-hmm. And they said that Oregon was going to give Ohio State some fits on which could happen because Ohio State didn't really show as much on defense, right, or on the D line in that Minnesota game. They got ran all over, but which is what's that?
I said, yeah, especially if Kayvon Thibodeau is hurt,
right?
Because he left the game in the walking booth for Oregon. So if he's hurt, then
that's gonna be tough. And I only see Ohio, and Chris Olave wasn't really much of a factor. He wasn't much of a factor, but he had 2 touchdowns, right? But I mean, as far as he wasn't catching them. Were really some of his only touches. So once he gets going, and they get the rest of those guys, Jackson Smith going, and some of those other guys in the offense, man, I think, and that freshman running back, I mean, kid's got some juice. So I think once they get rolling and CJ gets a little bit more, a little bit more comfortable in the offense, I think the sky's the limit for them. They got to get tightened up on offense though, man, for sure, because the back end looks like they good, but you can't get run on like that, especially when you got
Chase Young or that Bosa. They don't have that guy this year.
They don't got nobody to blow up in the middle. So the Fresno game, we'll see what happens with the OSU game. I still kind of give it to Ohio State, especially because it looks like let me see, do they have them? Looks like they got them at home too. So I like the Buckeyes at home for sure in that game. Another one that I was really kind of pleasantly surprised about was Penn State. I thought Penn State played a tough game, man. James Franklin looked like he had his guys ready to play, and they just look. While the game kind of went back and forth, they always look like the better team in the game to me. They look like the more prepared team. I feel like Sean Clifford missed a couple wide open throws where nobody was running with the guy. So I think the score could have been a little bit more, more wide open than it was in the final 10-16. But Penn State was I think they're going to give everybody in the or are they in the Big Ten? I think they're going to give everybody in the Big Ten trouble this year because I don't see anybody. They're stout on defense. I don't see anybody just running them over. I didn't even know Joey Porter's son played cornerback for them. Did y'all?
I didn't either. No.
He starts at corner. Yeah, Joey Porter's son starts at cornerback for Penn State. Joey Porter Jr. So, he's got
coaches somewhere too. I forgot what he coaches.
I saw him in the stands, man. I saw him in the stands. He looked old, bro.
I thought he coached for Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, you think so?
Steelers.
Yeah, he coached for Steelers. Yeah,
he's still up there. Yeah, he gonna forever be with Tomlin, man, until he feel like he want to do something else for sure. But
Penn State's definitely a number 2 behind Ohio State for sure.
Yeah, they showed me something, man, and I feel like in a tight game, they can give Ohio State trouble and possibly win that game, especially with their struggles on the ground because Penn State runs the ball. They're running the ball pretty good. So I'm excited. I'm excited about their prospects this year. I toot my own team's horn, man, because I know, what I'm saying, Florida State. I mean, I don't think anybody expected a game like that. And when I tell you, just from a firsthand perspective, Doak was rocking, bruh.
Yeah, you can see it.
You can tell.
Doak. I was like
that in a while,
bruh. That was the most electric atmosphere that I'd ever been in, man. I was like, whoa, this place is on fire, especially like. And then when they went down like 38 to what was it? They were down 10, right? They were down like 11, something like that.
38-20.
Oh, 30-18, right? So they were down, and I think everybody kind of looked at each other in the stands. We were like, "Damn, this is probably about to get out of hand." But we're like, "Hell, you got a long. Well, you probably had a 2% chance of them coming back, right, and shutting them out basically after because it looked like they were with them. You know what I'm saying, for the first couple quarters, and right after halftime they had a really bad third quarter, where Travis J. I mean, I was really kind of disappointed. And it really just looked like, dude, they were running with him. They just couldn't find the football. Like if you look on that one on the one deep ball that they threw on Travis, he got 2 of them thrown on, but on the one that they threw to the right side of the end zone, it was probably like a 50-yarder, right? Mm-hmm. He was running with them, but I'm sitting there the whole time. I'm looking. I'm like, dude, look back for the ball, and he's sitting there like he's literally like chasing the dude and going like this, and I'm like, dog. If you just look back for the ball, right? You could have located the ball and knocked it away, but just the ball skills are not there. From what I saw, now number 3 got some dog in him. Number 3,
he tackled very well.
Yeah,
he kind of came up and was feeling. He did a good job of that.
Yeah, so I felt like they got stuff to build on, man. I feel like get a good thrashing of Jacksonville State, get feeling good going into week 3.
Yeah.
What's that? Jacksonville State?
Yeah. No, seriously. They're gonna be better teams than FCS.
Yeah. I think they'll still I think
FSU has to figure out the quarterback situation. I don't think
you don't think
that far.
Yeah.
Milton looked a little better. You can still see that the knees still
he's hesitant. Yeah, he's hesitant.
He's still hesitant.
Yeah.
And I like Corbin. I like the running back Corbin. But I still think defensively, it's still some things to figure out because he still threw for almost 400 yards. So I think there's still some things to figure out defensively, especially because they did a good job stopping the run, which
they just got bombed. They got bombed, man. Their DBs they did not play well in man coverage.
And that's why I think they got to figure out how to defensively to slow be able to slow it down, and the quarterback situation because that I think was the biggest difference in the game.
Yeah,
Travis throwing 3 interceptions. Granted, Kyle Hamilton is arguably again like we said on the last podcast, probably the best defensive player in the country, and he showed that in that Florida State game. That second interception is ridiculous.
Yeah,
from the opposite hash and catching on the sideline like. Sean Taylor's maybe the only other person.
Yeah.
That play. You know what I'm saying? So I think once those things get figured out, I think they got a chance to build on some things there.
I feel like if you look at the game in a vacuum, it came down to the interceptions. What Jordan threw 3. He threw 3 interceptions. Travis comes down to those 3 turnovers, right? You can't give away those 3 turnovers if you're trying to beat a top 10 team. You can't do it.
And pass protection. I think the O-line, they did a decent in the run game. I also think the backs kind of carried it a little more because Corbin was fantastic. He looked the best back. I mean, he looked
good.
Acres in the way he played. He was very strong. He didn't go down on first contact. Even having that 89-yard run.
I did not expect him to pull away from him like that though. He pulled away out the gate.
He showed something. To me, he's the best player on the team right now. Until further notice, he's the best player on the team.
Jermaine Johnson, he played good. He did really good. I feel like for a half, but he kind of Jermaine Johnson, the DN from transfer from Georgia.
Oh, number 11.
Yeah, he had 2 sacks, but like those were early, and then when you really needed him in crunch time, there were other guys that stepped up. But I kind of saw him like he allowed himself to get blocked. I don't know if he was tired or what, but you just didn't see the same intensity from him throughout the game.
I could agree to that.
Yeah, so I think they just got to work on maybe motor, maybe some of that stuff. Big, you gassed yourself maybe early, but and Desmond, bro, me and Desmond was going back and forth the whole game, bro. Desmond was like, "Y'all suck, y'all hey."
Yeah, because I mean, they probably only have Kyle Hamilton and the tight ends, probably the only NFL players they have on that roster.
And they running back. They running back.
He was pretty good. I felt like he went down too early. A lot of times, there was some times where I was like, you should be
them boys couldn't run side to side though. Florida State was coming in the alley.
Yeah, once he got
Yeah.
to the edge, I feel like he couldn't. The way Corbin got to the edge and ball
Yeah.
through contact was totally different.
Yeah.
From the way Williams, I believe is his name, something like
Yeah.
23 from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Once he got to the edge, he kept trying to like shake people instead of that's the difference to me between the NFL back and the college back. NFL
Yeah.
backs, they come straight to you on the edge because
Yeah.
that's where your money is. When you look at the Derrick Henrys, the Camaras, all the way down in the NFL, when you get to that edge, that's usually what the big plays are. So. I think they were average team at best. They were probably ranked a little higher than they should have been based off last year's performance. I think that's what kind of kicked Notre Dame up to number 9. Don't think they're.
You think they can beat any of those Big Ten teams or anything like that? You don't think so? No.
I don't think. I think they were probably 15-ish at best. I mean,
so the better they do, the better it looks for Florida State, right?
Possibly.
At the end of the day,
I mean, who's on their schedule? I don't really know who.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're in the ACC. They're not in the ACC this year
schedule.
like they were last year.
Are they in the ACC this year? Is Notre Dame in the ACC? Do we know?
I don't know per se, but I think they play the ACC schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, but I was like, well, I'll say I was fairly. I was impressed by the comeback of the game. I was still really disappointed that they didn't pull it out because it's still Florida State. You know what I mean? You don't get no consolation prizes for no close loss. Like,
no
you know what I'm saying?
no
Cool.
victories.
Yeah, there's no moral victories in that. I feel like other people may have taken moral victories from it, but I was just
There's a lot
man,
of
y'all
people
got.
that are really excited about the law. I'm like, I mean, it was a good, good way to come back. I like the fight. It showed more fight than they have shown.
Yeah.
I thought that was a positive. So yeah,
I feel like maybe they're one recruiting class away. One recruiting class away.
The quarterback.
Yeah. Is this going to be Milton's last year? He's been in college for a while.
For a while, yeah.
Yeah.
And we just dressed in Miami, Alabama. I think.
Yeah.
They were the best team in college football for a reason. And they showed that. Bryce Young showed tremendous poise, tremendous talent. He showed why he was a 5-star quarterback. So I was very impressed with that. We had 35 pressures on Alabama, on Bryce Young, and we only got 1 sack compared to Alabama having 21 pressures and getting 4 sacks. So I think he showed, his dual threat abilities, his ability to make every throw on the field. And then their run game, the running back room for them is loaded with Trey Sanders, Brian Robinson, and those guys. And Trey Sanders, shout out to him too. IMG kid from Florida. Battled injuries his first year and second year, so missed 2 full seasons. So shout out to him for kind of getting back on the field and doing this thing. And then Miami-wise, I thought the game plan offensively was a little conservative, but it's also tough to score in Bama. That's the best front. They returned 8 starters from a championship defense, and then you add a 5-star linebacker like Henry To'oTo'o, who played great, Tennessee transfer, and some of those guys. So they played as advertised. When you have a NFL head coach in Doug Marrone, who's the offensive line coach at Alabama, it's
man, they got a stacked deck, right?
It's that. Bill O'Brien, another NFL head coach, is your offensive coordinator. So the coaching and the talent, I think took over, which was expected. And we missed 3 opportunities in the red zone to kind of get some points there. So it's tough, and it's expected, but I don't think it's
about the bounce back for y'all.
Yeah, it's about the bounce back, absolutely. Yeah. So and I feel like that helps us for the rest of the season. We'll never see a front like that again for the rest of the season, or deal with that. So I think we'll be able to really run it. And again, I like us getting 35 pressures compared to 21 from Alabama. That showed that Manny Diaz's effect. We were able to affect them. They only had 130 rushing yards, which was, they averaged well over 200. So there were some things that positives to pull out, but again, it's Alabama. They only let 3 people score over 20 points on them last year. That was Florida, Ole Miss, and I forgot the other team.
But while we saying there's no consolation prizes, right? They still the U, right? The U still had a top 10 recruiting class. So we not giving consolation prize. There ain't much to take away from the game.
No, I'm saying.
I know you were talking about the pressures and things of that nature, but
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, with Manny Diaz taking back over as defensive coordinator, so there were some things where there was some question marks with how would the defense kind of translate. So that's why I say, I mean, it's the best team in the country. Good luck to everybody else to try to stop Alabama.
Nah, Alabama Teflon. At this point, yeah, everybody's seen that for sure.
Yeah, there's nobody in the country that can deal with it.
What you got, Mark?
And one game I wanted to throw out there, I didn't want to harp too much on it, but we talked about Sam Howell last week and how, we had big expectations going into this one.
Virginia Tech on a Friday night. I said,
man,
Sam Howell ain't that guy, man.
We talked about it, I believe Friday night or Saturday night, man.
Yeah.
Stocks all the way down on Sam Howell right now.
Yeah.
He really disappointed me. I expected big things from him.
And it's hard to reload. I mean, when you lose 2 NFL running backs, 2 NFL receivers, if you ain't got the talent to replace that, which you don't, and you're going into a hostile environment like that to kick off the season, it's tough, man. Especially in Virginia Tech. That's the if there's any place where you've almost guaranteed an upset, especially on a Friday night game like that. It's probably Virginia Tech.
Blacksburg, bro. You've seen it too many. You've seen too many games out there.
Too many times. It's gonna happen to every team from Florida State to Miami to all down. You go into Virginia Tech on a Friday night.
Yep.
Any night game, usually it's going to be tough. You're in the middle of nowhere. It's like a cold. You know what I'm saying? You got these crazy Virginia Tech fans. They're gonna storm the field. Every time. So it's tough. It was some good football. Looking forward to week 2. It's kind of the cupcake week for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's cupcake.
So, Marcus, real quick, what you think about the quarterback controversy in Gainesville with Anthony Richardson and Emory Jones? Because in my opinion, Emory, he looked too.
They're saying, they're not. They're saying
for how long he's been in Florida. Bro.
Yeah,
like those 2 interceptions were terrible.
They're horrendous. They're horrendous. How I'm feeling, man. Pretty much just like you said, man. Emory was a little bit of a disappointment. You would have liked for the 2-3 years that he's been on campus for him to, have a more expanded role in the offense. Like it just seemed like it was real, like vanilla. Like just really trying to focus on things he did well, but those things that he did well, he didn't do too well in the game. So I would have liked to see a little bit more, especially playing FAU. We still have playmakers on the outside. We should be utilizing them. And then when A. Rich came in the game, I think he had that confidence as soon as he was in there. He seemed like he knew what he was doing. As soon as he got the ball, he made a decision. And with Emory, it looked like once he threw a couple bad balls, it looked like it probably got him instead a little bit. And,
very indecisive guy.
Yeah,
and that's why I think the second interception got him, because he was indecisive. Then he threw it late inside, and it was, for me, it was the location of the balls. He's been there almost 4 years. Like you don't throw a corner route on a line, bro. You put air on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, he threw it straight to the corner. Like I was.
And those are things as a vet. You're a 4th-year junior. You've been in the system. Like being in the system isn't even an excuse. That's general quarterback play. You know what I'm saying? And
you should know that like the back of your hand.
Exactly. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. I wouldn't say start A. Rich right now.
Nah. Now, for my money, I would definitely give him a lot more reps. And if you're just joining us, man, we're talking about the Anthony Richardson versus the Emory Jones. The Emory Jones comparison here. So, I mean, it's kind of. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was going to say definitely playing Bama. I'm definitely mixing in some A-Rich because if there's a formula to beating Bama, is a running quarterback.
I think
that stays true.
Listen, I think if you're Dan Mullen, I think you look at it now, you kind of sit back, right? And you expected Emory probably to put up 40 on FAU, right? I think you sit back and you say, damn, is Anthony Richardson how big of a gap is it, right? How big of a gap did we think it was in training camp without playing anybody,
And
right?
the trajectory.
Right. And do you think that giving him reps now, all the reps now, well, I mean, I think he hands down gives you the best shot to beat Bama. I mean, I don't think they're coming anywhere close. To me, and this is not Marcus. I know that's your team, but to me, bro,
I agree.
I think Florida State will get them boys a run for their money this year. I think Florida State will give Florida a run for their money. Just because, bro, like what offensive weapons do you fear for Florida other than Dameon Pierce? Nobody.
But what offensive weapons have you feared other than like Kadarius Toney and Pitts? But we put up 40, 50 points.
Bro, y'all had other players, bro. Y'all had Grimes. Y'all had other players.
I know that.
You don't fear them, but they're productive. You know what I'm saying? And then
you still have those type of guys.
I think people ain't giving Kyle Trask enough credit. Kyle Trask was a good quarterback. Yeah, the man saw the field and he could deliver the football where it needed to be.
He's the best quarterback since Tebow.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
I mean, and nobody gave him no credit. I'm like, dog, do you see this man? Do you see how this man is conducting his offense? And y'all started Felipe Franks for how long? You know what I mean?
True. That's true. I mean,
I think
I give a lot of credit to Dan Mullen, man. Like, think about this. Felipe, shoot, we talked about Felipe. Right, that was a top 10 team playing Miami. What was that? A couple years ago with Felipe.
2017, 2018.
With Felipe Franks, that was a.
But
top
then you sit and say, were they?
I mean,
with Felipe, were they really a top 10 team? You know what I mean, or was it scheduled?
I think it was more so Dan Mullen. I think Dan Mullen is he's one of the best play callers. I would put him in the top 5.
He's top 3.
Play callers in college football. I think
he's a great coach.
That's a credit to him. He continues to get offensive production no matter who the guy is. And to me, that's always the barometer check.
That's the goal.
You are as a coordinator is can you get consistent production no matter who's under center? And so far, he's shown that. I mean.
And I think he'll get something out of Emory. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but with what Emory's shown you, which wasn't a lot, I think Dan Mullen can build off it. Like he's one of those coordinators. Just give me a little bit, and I'll try to make it work with that. And,
who does Florida play this week?
Let's see. I had it.
USF.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I give Emory the start this week, and if he doesn't, if he looks like last week, I go into Bama with A-Rich as the starter. If it's me, you give them something totally new to game plan for because you don't really know at that point. There's a lot more film on Emory, especially things you can kind of trick him into. But with A-Rich, I mean, as far as explosive quarterbacks, he's probably the most explosive quarterback. He's not Lamar as far as explosive. He's probably the closest as far as explosive quarterbacks.
Do you give Emory that long of a hook though? I mean, especially in game 2, if he's not playing well in the first half against USF, don't you want to get A-Rich in there and give him all the rest of the reps?
It looks like last week we can work him in more in the second half, and he gets the start going into that following week for sure. Because I think
I don't know, man. I think the eye test for a lot of people, man, is like, we saw, you know what I'm saying? So it's like we saw what it looked like. If if you trust your eyes, Anthony Richardson's the better quarterback, right? He's got the better arm. He's a better runner. We don't know if the accuracy's there because he wasn't throwing many intermediate balls, but we haven't seen him play much.
You try to ride with your guy one more year. I mean, one more game. You give him one more game. He's been there 4 years. He's earned the right to get one more game. So that's why I would put it. But again, everybody's different. I mean,
and one thing I will say, think about it in Emory's shoes.
Exactly.
Like we said, he's waited 2 or 3 years, and the first game he actually starts, he's splitting series with A-Rich. And the backup's always the favorite guy. You know what I'm saying?
And he got on 15.
And
That
he
was
has run the 15. And he
Look,
looks
look,
damn
man,
good. He's
look,
still
look.
rough, so.
I believe in all the 4-year stuff. You're my guy. You at Florida, bro. You got to produce.
To win it,
This
yeah.
is the
You got
the
one more
Florida
game.
Gators, right?
You got one more game before
This
they call
ain't
it.
this ain't Toledo, where he's a 4-year guy. Out, you know, he's gonna ride out. We're gonna ride out the season with him till our 3-star comes in. Nah, this Florida. If you got another guy, roll with him because you might not be there, Dan Mullen, because I believe you're on the hot seat, sir.
I don't think
No, I
so.
don't think so.
I don't
think
think
he's-
You don't think Dan Mullen's on the hot seat?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd bring him to Miami.
He's already got an SEC East. He's still an SEC East from Georgia. I mean, he's only been there 3 seasons. I mean,
He's only been there 3 seasons.
3, 4. I mean, yeah, 3 seasons.
It's 4th year, I think.
I mean, what more could you ask for other than being in the playoff?
I mean, you put up 40 on Bama. I mean, you're the only team
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
to put up 40 on Bama probably in like last, including this year. Ain't nobody gonna put 40 on Bama.
So would you say coaches they get a longer hook in the SEC than any other
Not
conference?
not necessarily, but
depending on who you are and what school you're at.
yeah. Like if
Like
you're
Coach
South
O?
Carolina, he's a short leash. Yeah,
got one
Coach
more
O's
year.
a short leash. Yeah.
Like it might be this year. Coach O, whatever they did last year, his ass might be out of there this year. Like, hey,
Who, Coach O? Yeah.
Coach O, like you can't go.
They gave
you can't
him
have a
that extension, man.
That don't mean nothing.
Yeah,
You know, extensions don't mean nothing in college.
Unless you got a tiger living on campus, man. Yeah, buy him out in the heart.
And think about this: like Florida's not a blue blood, like not a traditional blue blood. Like, yeah, they've won, but you know, you don't put them in the pantheons of a Bama or even a Miami. Like, you know,
I say Florida's a blue blood.
Yeah, I think
What?
Florida's blue blood.
Florida's a
You
blue
got the
blood.
Jordan- you
Since
got the Jordan
when?
unis on, bro.
Yeah.
You blue blood.
If
You
you
think
got
so?
if you got natties, you're a blue blood.
you think so? But I
Yeah.
mean, I understand that logic, but
I feel like if you look through different decades, there's been great Florida teams every decade,
yeah, of course,
at least a couple years. You know what I'm saying?
of course.
So that automatically and
One quick way to know: there's
Yeah.
only a few teams in Madden. They got the campus legends of a lot of blue bloods. Florida is one of those teams that made.
That's
the cut.
that's very
Florida.
true.
You know,
that's very
Florida, Texas,
That's very true. That's my
USC,
team, but I don't think of them as a
Bama.
blue blood.
yeah, it's few. It's,
Marcus, you got to give him some credit, dog.
it's a blue blood.
I personally I think of like the SCs, we don't got to spend a lot of time on it. SCs, Ohio State, Texas,
Yeah.
Oklahoma,
I think Florida's in
Miami,
there.
So
Florida
Florida
State. Like, you know what I'm saying?
so
Like, I think of Georgia as more of a blue blood. You know, we have more
won nothing.
natties. We have more natties than them.
That's what Florida, Georgia haven't won anything. They're one of those teams that I think is a tradition.
They're like a Notre
more so than
Dame.
a blue blood.
They're like,
hey man, Georgia look bad, bro. They ain't got no offense though, dog.
No offense, bro.
They're gonna be. It's gonna. I guarantee. I'm telling you right now. They play Bama. It's gonna get ugly. Ugly.
but they don't have Bama on their schedule.
Well,
Yeah,
they got a
but
cupcake. They got a cupcake all the way to the. Well, Kirby got some time to figure out something. Find where? Hey, what's up with Pickens? Where's Pickens at? Is he hurt?
I think he got hurt last year. I think he's recovering still from that injury.
But
So I got Darnell Washington, 6'8", 250.
Where was he at? He didn't play.
He didn't?
No.
I was okay. Oh,
Him or Eric Gilbert didn't play. And furthermore, I don't even see. I don't even.
Gilbert's
Huh?
not playing at all, dog. I don't even think he's on campus, bro.
I don't see. I didn't even see Darnell Washington on the roster.
Oh, he went under surgery.
Who, Washington?
Mhm.
I didn't even see him.
Gilbert is away from the team dealing with personal issues.
For how long? Just for. It didn't say.
Yeah, it doesn't say. That's crazy. So maybe that's why they didn't look. Because I was wondering, like, you got too many 5 stars and mega talented players, bro.
They wide receivers look sour, boy. You see who they was running out there?
Yeah.
Nothing.
It looks sour out there.
Look good.
Huh?
I said they made Florida receivers.
Yeah, I was like, bro, who is these white boys, bro? and they don't got no shake. What's going on? But shoot, Clemson, and that made Clemson look even worse. That made Clemson look even
couldn't
worse.
get off on nothing.
No, and DJ looked like he was shook in that big game. Shook.
But didn't PJ Williams, the receiver, he broke his thumb, right?
PJ. For
I think that's his name.
Who he played
number
for?
6, Clemson.
Justin Ross didn't have a good game either. I don't know what's up with that.
No, well, bruh. In Ross's defense, Ross was breaking them off, bruh. DJ wasn't getting them the
DJ
ball.
was missing.
Ross was open by like 5 yards on a couple, and DJ just sailed it. And the thing is, the pressure was there, bruh. But at the same time, if you could get the ball off, I mean, I didn't see many balls deflected. I didn't see.
DJ's 6'6", like 6'6".
Yeah, bro. He was
That was the difference in the game.
He was facing regular pressure that you're gonna face in a big game, and you still have to deliver. You gotta deliver, bro. What the national championship look like?
Yeah.
You gonna have to deliver, and that it ain't gonna be sweet.
Is
So-
DJ an NFL quarterback?
From what he showed me right now, bro, he did not. I don't like one thing. I don't like his release. His release is very weird to me. And he sailed a lot of footballs. I don't know, and the lack of mobility. Was troubling.
They don't have a run game either. I mean, Travis Etienne saved Clemson these last 3 years. The reason why Clemson was so good was because of Travis Etienne. Trevor Lawrence was good, was pretty good, but Travis got 3-time ACC Player of the Year for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So he was the best player on that team, hands down. So you lose the guy like that. I think it really showed too, because they had no run production. Their running backs were quiet. They couldn't run the football. Georgia was stopping the run game with 4 down linemen and 1 linebacker in the box a lot of times. Like
Are we-
4-man front, and then able to stop them? I was blown away. You can sit back in too high safety and still stop the run. Like that's almost that's what every defensive coordinator wish they could do, is sit back in too high safety and still stop the run. Like, and they were able to do it all night long. So to me, I think that was the biggest factor for that game, was not having.
Speaking of, and that's exactly what Notre Dame did, because they didn't respect Florida State's wide receivers. They sat in too high most of the game.
After they had that big play with Jordan Travis threw that long ball, they went back in like a cover 2, cover 4. Like, look, where they went 3 down linemen, and they were trying to kind of keep everything in front of them, which I thought. I mean, I respect Marcus Freeman as a good defensive coordinator, but I thought that was another reason why Florida State kind of got back into the game, because then all they did was run. They stopped trying to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Get the Wildcat a lot of times, let Corbin do his thing, even on the goal line, you know what I'm saying, a lot of those third downs. And the times Florida State got away from that, like even on that 4th down, at 4th and 1, they tried to do the little sprint out with George, run the damn ball.
Yeah.
So I think Norvell did make a few mistakes there. But another thing I want to pivot to, since we had Rashawn McKay on last week, is the FAMU Jackson State.
Yeah, we got to talk about that, bro. Did you see how much bro, they was hating on the YouTube channel, bro. Yeah. They was going in on the YouTube, bro.
I felt bad for Ray, bro. He had no protection from the jump, bro. No protection at all. And
it sounds like they're blaming him though.
They did.
They blaming him.
They did.
But
because white chocolate. Hey, white chocolate came in and he was dealing a little bit.
But
not really. But
how can you realistically expect something when, as soon as the ball's being snapped, you got 3 guys in your face?
Yeah,
and that's what I felt like Rashawn was dealing with. It wasn't nothing where he was missing a read or wasn't processing something correctly. Like it just seems like when he was in the game, it just didn't seem like they were blocking for him.
I got to defer to y'all on this, man, because I didn't really get to see much of any of the game. I saw like a few plays at the tailgate, but what I didn't like, bro, is I just felt like it was really overdone by Jackson State with the win, bro. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, bro. I'm like, y'all won by 1 point, bro.
Yeah,
y'all won by 1.
They shouldn't. Huh? I said they shouldn't even won the game. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, well,
it was a very winnable game.
I'm like, bro, y'all won by 1 point. 1 point, dog. And like, if you look at everything, the social media, if you look at everything else, bro, you would have thought they blew out FAMU, bro. You would have
You
thought
know
they
how
just
our
out.
people do. A win is a win. It's one by 1 in 100. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, our people they go rock with. And there was a lot of
Phew.
trash talking going into it. You know, this been going on since the game was announced.
Yeah.
The celebrities involved, like Gilly, the kid on the sideline, Terrell Owens on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? Gilly got
Bro, how did Gilly get in the end zone, bro?
All prime time.
and then spiked the ball.
Bro.
He spiked the ball.
I didn't know who that was until you said
That's what
Man, I was like,
yeah, they got the flag. Yeah.
He got a penalty.
and when I saw Gilly the kid, I'm like, bro, what Gilly the kid got to do with the football game? I was lost thoroughly.
Yeah,
But-
it was definitely a winnable game from fam. Like again, I didn't feel like Ray Sean was, you know, doing anything. Albeit I don't know the, you know, ins and outs of their offenses, their, you know, what happened in practice or anything like that.
Yep.
But it just didn't seem like he was getting the protection he needed. You know,
I agree. That was a big issue, and it kind of fell back on him.
Yep.
Especially as far as the blame, and I don't really think the offensive coordinator did a great job either. With
If you're just joining us, man, we're talking about the FAMU JSU game and kind of everything that happened there. Desmond's breaking that down right now. So if you're just joining us, man, give us a like, subscribe, share. This is your Prep Talk Weekly, sponsored by Cutters.
Yeah, so and I think that was a big issue. I think even in the 2-minute drill, like closing the game out, even when they did switch quarterbacks, like they looked unprepared, had false starts, the play call was coming in late. It looked bad. I mean, they got out coached for sure. You know, luckily the talent gap was still kind of off. I think FAMU was more talented, which is again why that game was so close. I think they were the more talented team, but I think the coaching was slightly the reason why Jackson State was able to squeak out with it, because I think
I looked at this. I looked at the stats. It looked like they had FAMU was going for about 5 a clip on the ground.
They had
So.
chances to get
What
it.
I was just about to say. I was just about to say that if they just kept running the ball,
Yeah. And found ways to have success. You got to find ways to put your best players to have success. That's your job as offensive coordinator and defense coordinator too. You got to find ways to make sure your players can have success. And some of the things that they were doing were not even close to that. So I think sucks for Sean, especially being pulled in a game like that, especially in hometown. So shout out to keep your head up for Sean if you're listening. We still support you.
When did they pull him?
I think it was about third quarter, early fourth, if I'm not mistaken. Around there, yeah, they pulled.
Bro, you got to. In my opinion, man. In my opinion, the way the game turned out, you gotta let him play. Let him play the rest of the game, bro.
Come on, you're 600 days off from basketball, from playing football, bro. Like, give the young guy a chance.
Yeah. And then after that, so. I don't agree with that coach, man, at FAMU, man. I'm really actually disappointed in the decisions that he's made, because how do you let Rashawn battle throughout training camp, right, to win the job? He wins the job. You let him play one game, and you pull him, and then you name a different starter. Who does that?
Who does that? I agree. I feel the
same. Who does
way.
that?
I don't like that decision. I mean, especially naming a freshman over him. Going into the next game,
a freshman who had no scholarship offers from anywhere.
Exactly. So it's like you can't. Again, that's why I say the same thing with the Emory Jones situation. When you got a situation like that, where that's been your guy who's been there for 4 years, same situation, Redshirt Jr., Redshirt Jr., who's been there for 4 years, battled, didn't even get a season last year because of the COVID thing, and battled back. You got to give him one more game. Now, if it looks like that, the second game, okay, then we make the decision and we move forward and understand. Okay. So far, we got 2 games to judge you on. We're not just making a decision in the vacuum or a hasty decision just because it was on ESPN against Deion Sanders and all that. That's what it seemed like.
That's what it seemed like.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you give it one more game. If it looks that bad, then all right, cool. Everybody can step away and say you gave him the chance and you're able to fully evaluate his talent and you feel like the best decision moving forward for the rest of the season would be to move somewhere else. You can't give a player one game, man. That's unfair to him and everything that he's done to the team. Because so what if the freshman doesn't play well? Now you put Rashawn back in. Not, it's too much. It's games. You don't do that.
I want to see what Prime look like when he faced some adversity, because you got some killers on the schedule still. You know what I'm saying?
Still.
So,
and to say, and I also want to say this, Shador, he impressed me. Albeit, with the score, being a freshman, that's your first college game, and
the
albeit,
hoopla.
yeah, all the hoopla, all that, it was still some pressure to go out there, and he didn't light it up, of course, but he did a pretty good job out there.
Did enough to win, right?
Yep, I'll give him that.
Yeah, he didn't look outmatched at all. He looked like he was comfortable for the most part. He understood, this time, and he made some big plays as well. So, pretty good. I like Shiloh too. Shiloh was making some plays.
Man,
I saw him coming with that stick.
Yeah.
I had to get up for that one. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like Shiloh. Shiloh looked pretty good as well. So, some interesting college football this first week.
I like that number 1 they had on Jackson State too. He was an Alabama walk-on, transferred in. He looked pretty good. I don't know if he'll make any NFL teams or whatever
Type thing, yeah.
But
got some time. Shout out to Antoine Owens, another former player of mine, played for Jackson State, played really good against FAM. So much love to those guys. Chad Hunter, Richard, Monterey. Shout out to all those guys, man. God be alone.
Let's take a look at the top 25, man. Real quick in college football. So you got just looking at some of these games, you got Alabama versus Mercer, Georgia, UAB. Everybody, those top 2 look like they got some cupcakes. You know what I mean? So you got Ohio State. Ohio State plays Oregon. Oklahoma's got Western Carolina. Texas A&M plays Colorado. Colorado has a good team this year. Everybody's kind of looking at them like in the Pac-12, so we'll see what happens in that game. That's gonna be fun, man. That's at Mile High, I believe. So they're playing, and then you got Clemson versus South Carolina State, Cincinnati, Murray State, Notre Dame, Toledo. Iowa plays Iowa State, man. That's gonna be a game. That's gonna be a game right there. That's 9 and 10. Iowa State ranked number 9. Iowa ranked number 10. You got 11 Ball State. Let's see, Florida, South Florida. USC plays Stanford, so we'll see what happens there. Stanford looks like trash, though. Texas plays Arkansas. Let's see, Wisconsin, Eastern Michigan. No really big ones, man. Looks like Miami will get a pick-me-up game against Appalachian State. They're pretty good though. They're pretty good.
One of the best FCS teams out there. I mean, they 10-win seasons is normal for them. So
are they in the FCS anymore? I thought they were D1.
I'm not sure. I have to double check. I believe they're FCS, but they just smacked East Carolina first game of the season.
No, they're
D1.
I think they're Conference USA or something.
Yeah.
So they just smacked East Carolina big time first week. So it's gonna be a tough game. They're not a slouch by any means. So
yeah, you don't have any.
You don't come in and set the tone early against them.
Yeah, you don't have anybody really in the top 25 who has a really like world beater game. This week, week three is a different story. So I think everybody gets kind of a lick my wounds game, except Alabama. They ready to eat, but everybody gets a game to kind of get some confidence going into week 3. And see what happened, man.
I'm with it.
What are you guys feeling like on the high school? Let's take a look at some high school matchups. You got Bartram Trail is actually ranked 3rd in the state in 8A right now. So I think they got a chance to do something special this year. I think you got to see a little bit more from them on offense. They play they play Tallahassee Lincoln this week. I know Desmond, maybe you might know a little bit more about Lincoln than most kind of coaching in that area.
Yeah, they keep a very, very competitive team. Shout out to Coach Jimmy Tyson, the head coach there, a former defensive coordinator at Godby. They got a lot of talent, led by Raylan Wilson, their 4-star linebacker, one of the best overall athletes coming out of this class. I mean, he runs track. He's a linebacker that returns kickoffs. You really don't see that. He's a special athlete. So they have, and he has his brother on the team as well. So very special collection of talent. They're going to be tough. They're going to be competitive. They went to the playoffs last year, so it's going to be a tough matchup for Barton this week for sure. They definitely going to have to score more, be able to score more points than what they did against Columbus last year.
Man, Bartram looked really physical on defense, man. He looked really physical on defense. They look like
they have a shot at state.
Yeah, if they can find something on offense, and
we talked about it. They need to play some of those guys both ways.
Yeah, and maybe they'll realize that because they have a state championship defense for sure. Especially and they didn't even have their like 3 or 4 star defensive tackle committed to Cincinnati, Segre Graham. So. They have a shot, man. They got you got 2 D1 linebackers. The whole back end looks like they probably can play DN or D1 except maybe one, but they definitely look the part when they hop off the bus. So just looking at some of the other games around the state, see any of the other notable games. Let's see. So it looks like St. Thomas. Did St. Thomas Aquinas play recently?
I know they
played on ESPN a couple weeks ago.
They played St. Francis, right?
Yeah.
I think they played St. Francis on Yeah, they played St. Francis recently. Hold on. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. That was a few weekends ago. Let's see. You got Andrew Jackson playing Fletcher. Locally, you got Riverside Ribault. Riverside looks like they might be one of the best teams in the state too, in their division, especially on defense. You got Mandarin and First Coast. Somebody's going to get a win there. They're both 0-2. You got Baldwin versus Westside. Pahokie's 2-0. They play Palm Beach Lakes.
That's gonna be a good game.
Let's see. Sandalwood plays Atlantic Coast. Parker plays Wolfson. Lincoln Bartram Trail at 7 p.m. Columbia plays Oakleaf.
That should be a good one.
Yep. Flagler. Let's see. Pensacola. I don't really see too many. Masters Christian. Port St. Joe, they're 2-0. Trinity Catholic 0-1. Let's see. Inglewood's 1-1. Okay. Brother Seminole's 2-0. Have y'all seen anything about Seminole? Winter Park 1-1. Winter Park plays Boone. Winter Park. West Nassau plays Yulee. Jesus, a lot of games. Jones plays Edgewater.
That should be a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. That'd be a real good game.
Yeah. Florida State High School is 3-0, and they play Leon.
When did they get good?
I don't know.
Florida High, I don't know. They beat the hell out of Godby.
Yeah, Florida State 3-0.
Yeah, Florida High is I got something going on over there, and they don't usually keep a super talented team. Last really big time player to come out of there was Ronnie Harrison. Played for Alabama, went to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they don't really get a lot of crazy talent.
Let's see. So then Columbus plays Chaminade Madonna. Dr. Phillips plays Apopka.
It's gonna be tough to beat Apopka. They keep a good team.
Yep. They still running that triple option.
Yeah, as long as their coach is there.
The spin, whatever. That area is crazy.
How good was Jalen Carter when he played there, man? For Georgia, that D line.
Yeah,
and he's starting for them now. Jeez.
There's gonna be some good games. I'm definitely interested in that Bartram Lincoln.
Godby's 0-3, man.
Down and down here right now. Unfortunately, don't know what's going on, but they don't look good this year.
Well, those are just kind of some of the highlighted games, man. You got Cocoa plays Venice. That's gonna be a good one.
Coco always got to score.
Coco's too. I really want to see Coco play. Actually, let me see what their schedule looks like. They
Yeah,
got some
that
players
is.
on. They got some players on their team I want to see. Um, man, let's see. Yeah, that's about it, man. Those are pretty much all the games. That's so I think I think we got one of the best games maybe in the state this week.
Right.
In town, right? So
That's why I think it's gonna be some fireworks. I mean, you got Bartram, who's won some good games, on the kind of on the come up, and then Lincoln, who's playoff powerhouse as well. So it's gonna be interesting.
they've been tested, man. They've been tested over the past few years, right? They've had to play some of the biggest teams in the state. So I think they've lost. They've learned from some of those, and I think they're kind of ready to get up for big games now.
Yeah.
Especially on defense. Like they got a veteran D. So if your defense travels, man, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, that's pretty much all I had on that front. Let's talk about the vaccine part of things, man.
Yep.
What do you guys think about a lot of these companies requiring people to get vaccines, man? And you're just seeing it a lot more. I'm seeing a lot of people that I know, saying, hey, my job's going to require me to get a vaccine. I mean, you're seeing, even in football, I mean, it's affecting in sports and life, vaccines really affecting everything. So it's kind of seeming like, what do you guys think about that, man?
Well, I mean, just for me, I got the vaccine, and for me, it was for no reason of a job or anything like that. It was just for me to be, have my family be comfortable to, be around me. We have a big family. We like to be around each other, and for me, if your job is requiring you to, to be vaccinated or anything like that, I think, one thing that COVID has taught us, to do for yourself, or, find that lane for yourself. So, it's a preferential choice, or not a preferential choice, but it's a choice that, you have to make individually for your family. If it's something where your job's in jeopardy, like I said, COVID's brought us to the point where we could create our own lane, where we could do what we want and how we want and move how we want. So
I think, and it's so weird that a lot of these jobs would require you to take vaccines when there's so many jobs hiring. Like,
right,
you can find a job. You could find a job tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, I get. Yeah, and maybe for some of the corporate settings, it's harder, right? But there's people hiring. So I just think it's rough, man, especially for people who, they don't, it's just their personal choice, man. Like they don't want.
And that's what I was going to say.
There's people who don't. There's a large majority of our population that doesn't get flu vaccines every year, right? Yeah. Because that's their personal choice, and the flu can kill you. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get it. It's COVID. People, but I just think it's wrong to threaten somebody's job. You know what I'm saying? Over that. And I think not only is it wrong, but I think it's legally. I think people are gonna challenge that. And
the thing with that is
trouble.
Most states are at will employment, so
right.
They kind of they reserve the right. It's going to fall back on your leadership of organizations, right? So,
well, they can't you can't terminate anybody for medical reasons, though.
Unless you have an exemption, but you have to fill out an exemption to get that exemption that. But even if still, like in Florida, they can still be like, no.
Yeah, they could say they fired you. They could say they fired you for any other reason.
Most of these big companies,
or they don't even have to tell you.
And most of these big companies are privately owned, and Just like the NFL, they have their own mandates, so they can do whatever they want. So
Right.
Exactly.
that's the
And my thing with it is you can't make it a vaccinated versus not vaccinated thing, which is the issue with that the
Split in the
NFL is
world.
having for a second. Because then you run into a problem. So just because I'm vaccinated, I don't even take a test. You look at Lane Kiffin, who just said, "Oh, I debated. I'm vaccinated. I felt fine. I debated even taking the test, but you had COVID. So if you never would have took it, you would have been spreading it to other people just because you thought you felt fine.
Right.
You should still be taking the test. You should still be wearing a mask, just like people who aren't vaccinated. And I myself had COVID and dealt with any kind of vaccinated person. So it's the same protocol should be equal on both sides. It should still be the same thing. It shouldn't be I'm vaccinated, so I should. Or I'm unvaccinated, so I should. Everyone should be wearing masks. Everyone should be social distancing and following protocols and testing and making sure you don't have it or affecting anybody else. Because being vaccinated and having it is similar to being asymptomatic, being unvaccinated and having it. So, and then
That's the same. That's what I'm saying. It's very similar. And then when you talk about that, people are gonna need booster shots, man. Because there's gonna be a new strain, and the vaccine that you took before ain't gonna be, the vaccine that's gonna work for you. And
it's a personal choice. You can't force. They don't force to worry about what other vaccines you have, what you taking, and what you done. But it's a personal choice. So if you choose not to, as long as you're not asking for a special combination that somebody else wouldn't go through, because if I'm wearing a mask and I'm willing to get tested, everyone should be doing the same thing. It's not just me, so I'm not asking for anything special recommendation. I'm just following the protocols that are already set and standing in place already. So I think as long as that can be understood within companies and understand that, as long as you can provide you don't have to necessarily provide it, but still being able to have your reasoning, be able to make the choice you want to, and still follow protocols, everything should be fine.
Most definitely.
And my main thing, I think I touched on it a little bit, is I don't want this to split the world. You know what I'm saying? I don't.
It's already starting to, unfortunately.
I don't want this, to go back to the civil rights type of world where vaccinated water right here, you drink unvaccinated, you go through the door right here. You can't stay in this facility. That's my biggest fear, and like you said, that's unfortunate. It's slowly matriculating, itself into our society.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why it's so. I think even now, that's why it's so important. COVID taught you that to go start your business, right? Go start your business. Go. I mean, obviously these companies, they don't care about you one way or the other, right? They're gonna go where the bottom line goes. So, I think if my advice to anybody is, man, go start your business. Go get your LLC. Go get you. Go educate yourself on that part of things, and don't be so dependent on a company that will throw you away for being vaccinated versus unvaccinated or any other stupid reason why they could let you go, right? So I think that's what's so big, especially in the Black community, man. In our community, that there needs to be that education, and I'm starting to see more Black people starting to share things with each other, right? About how to start businesses, how to, instead of just keeping all the information to yourself. I know you guys probably see it on Instagram. You see people, just giving free game, man. And I think, while maybe some people probably won't take it, right? I think it's beneficial. I learned something today about how to buy a car on your business credit, right?
Yep.
And to where you can buy it with your business, and I'll just share it. So basically, how you do it is when you go to buy the car, if you don't have business credit, you can basically go as a co-signer. You're co-signing, so you and your business are two different entities in the eyes of the bank and credit bureaus. So you're actually going to be a co-signer with your business on that car. But when you co-sign, they're just verifying that you have the credit, you have the funds, right, to pay for it. Just looking at your history. That car doesn't go on your credit. That car goes on your business if you co-sign. Now, if you're a co-applicant, it will go on your credit. It's two different things, right? And I thought that was so interesting because I was even chopping it up with Alex Perry, man, because Alex Perry is in the Turo game and everything else. So I'm about to be in it myself. So I was just talking with him just to get some game, from somebody who already knows, a fellow classmate and things of that nature. Yeah, man. Shout out AP, man.
You're gonna be at the wedding too, buddy.
Yeah, hey, the wedding gonna be lit, bro. I already know. But just calling on a fellow
financial services if y'all need to reach out to AP. Shout out
Life Proof Financial, man. But just such a to be able to fellowship with somebody else, you know what I mean, who can help you with that information, and you guys just share stuff and just to go grow together, you know what I mean. I think that's an awesome thing and something that needs to continue to happen, especially now, and
100%
in these times. So good stuff, man. But I think I think that should be something that we do on the show, man. We share business tips, bro.
Yeah.
Business tips, maybe a tip of the day or something that you guys thought.
We can do that.
Yeah, tip of the day or something.
On a positive note.
Yeah. Something that you guys thought about, or I think that would be awesome, man, to end the show with a business note or something like that. So really appreciate it. Really appreciate you guys, man. Great show. Got to cover some good stuff. Be out at the Bartram Trail Lincoln game this weekend or this Friday, and see what we got there. Any games we can't leave out. We need quick take, man. Quick take on the Thursday night game. Bucks versus the Cowboys. Ooh, Marcus.
Yep.
Marcus, I know the household is gonna be thick tomorrow night.
It's gonna win.
Hey,
Cowboys gonna win tomorrow.
Hey, I'd actually be happy to see that, man. I like. Well, I don't like the Cowboys as an organization. I like Dak Prescott. I root for him. Yeah, I like Dak Prescott. Zeke got a lot to prove. I mean, Amari, he's been that. But man, Tampa Bay's coming back fully loaded. And one of the commentators said something funny while I was working it. I was watching NFL Network. No, Bart Scott on First Take. I like how they're doing First Take now. Have you guys seen that where they kind of Max? They kicked. Was there an issue with Stephen A. and Max, or what's going on? They just kind of booted Max off the show and they put him on the Keyshawn show. Now
I'm not sure.
Now they have like rotating hosts, so it's like Bart Scott, Tim Tebow, Swagoo. Who else is on there?
And they rotate. I know.
There's like one more guy.
Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin. Yeah. But Bart Scott said, man, Bart Scott said, when you already full, you don't want to eat. What you want to eat for? He said and he said he wasn't speaking from experience from being a Super Bowl champion. He was speaking from somebody else who he spoke to who said, hey, they didn't bring anybody new on the team. So who's really hungry if we all got chips, right? They didn't bring anybody new on the team who doesn't have a chip yet, which I thought was interesting.
But having Tom Brady, I think, negates that. I think having somebody who has won it so many times that it is not like such a high for him to where it's his first one. I think he's the person to keep the team on that. They have a lot of vets. I mean, you got Sue. You got a lot of people who've been around the league for Jason Pierre-Paul, who's been to the Super Bowl. So I think they have a lot of vets to keep them on the task at hand and not getting too high. Because that was last year. That don't matter. And I think that's Brady's message to them. Everybody
going to be coming for him, too.
Yeah. I hate to go against you, Mark. I know you're with the boys, but I think y'all secondary probably a little inexperienced to go against Tom.
I think Marcus, y'all gonna have to come with it because Tom gonna be dealing.
Yeah, that's why I think the front sevens should be better. Michael Parsons in, and a lot of guys healthy like Jalen Smith coming in.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be on the DBs is where I think Tampa's in.
I hope Randy Gregory got a lot of rest because he gonna need to rush the pass.
Hopefully he ain't smoke. between these 2 weeks, man. But the one thing I'm resting on, and it's nothing schematic or nothing like that, but Tom Brady starts slow, in the season. So I'm just hoping we're catching him on a bad day.
Yeah. Hey, it's as simple as that. Hey,
all.
that's a take.
No
That's a
scheme,
take
no-
if I ever heard one.
Yep, no scheme, no nothing. Catch them on off.
Gotcha. Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Hey, and Desmond, how do you feel about the Le'Veon Bell signing?
I love it. I think
Yeah.
he's only 29. I think he still has some in the tank. He hasn't played a lot over the last 2 years, and I think he's going to be determined. If you look at his Twitter bio, he got washed up. Bunch of different little hashtags. Kind of.
I think if he looks good,
saying. So I think he's going to come in hungry.
Yeah.
He'll be the number 2 back behind Gus Edwards, and I think our scheme fits his play style. He's going to be downhill, a lot of power, a lot of gap.
Yeah.
Scheme. So I think he's going to do really well. I look at him about 600 yards this year. I think that'll be about what
he can really help y'all in the passing game too, man.
That's
a great check down for Lamar, man, for sure.
Absolutely. And somebody who can actually line up, split out wide, and really run a route on you. So that was a great point as well.
Or big enough to pick up a blitz, right?
Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to fit well. I think that was a great signing. I didn't want us to sign Devontae Freeman. I didn't think he was the right guy. Nor was Latavius Murray. I don't think he's the right guy. So I think Le'Veon Bell was the best.
Le'Veon's got enough wiggle. He probably ain't got that. He ain't got no breakaway. You know what I'm saying? But he can get you 10 on the wiggle, right?
Yeah, great vision, can make that strong cut, and he doesn't go down easy. So
yeah, I like it.
We got a good shot at it.
For sure. All right, y'all. Well, that's our show for today, man. We appreciate everybody for watching. Again, this podcast is sponsored by Cutters. Please like, share, subscribe, man. Comment. We had some salty dogs from our FAMU take in our comments last week. So, but oh well. We keep coming with the takes, man. They couldn't really tell us why they was salty or nothing, but I think they was just hating, bro. They didn't like FAMU. So that's what it is. But we appreciate it, man. We appreciate all the comments, man. We appreciate the engagement. And just keep supporting, man. Keep supporting. We really appreciate it. And that's our show for tonight, man. Y'all have a great one.
Yeah, take it easy.
Shout out to Cutters. Shout out to Sploosh Life.
Shout out to Cutters. Shout out Sploosh Life. All them boys, man. Shout out Go2. They coming on board here shortly. So we appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yo, we out.
Sir.
All right.